Hey guys, happy holidays and all of that. Today I wanted to go over this big info dump that came out of pretty much all of the main producers and devs for Anthem, going over stuff like the demo that's coming out soon, cosmetics, loot, basically really important stuff that I figured that you guys would want to know about. And whilst there is some questions that are repeats and stuff that we knew already, for the most part it's fairly new information and fairly big stuff to go over. My name is Ryan Central, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet and you want more Anthem content and also some never before seen gameplay that should be coming fairly soon, then do subscribe to the channel, I'd really appreciate it. The tweets mainly come from 3 people, all of which are lead producers. We've got Ben Irving that kind of covers all of the gameplay, loot, progression aspects of stuff. You have Mike Gamble that does the story, Fort Tarsis, who answers a lot of questions on the demo, and then Mac Dara that's just a general AMA master on Twitter answering some other bits and pieces. But we have broken these down into different areas. We have loot, cosmetics, the demo, future stuff, gameplay, the guild system, and also currency within the game, and also specific javelins. We'll go over loot to begin with. When it comes to rarity, what is better, Masterwork or Legendary? Ben Irving says that Legendary is the highest. He also says that the main difference between Legendary and Masterwork is that Legendary tends to have better stats. Again, Masterwork tends to have very unique perks and ways that the ability can function. For example, a Masterwork component, as you're hovering in the air, all of your abilities have a much faster cooldown, so you want to be hovering quite a lot. If you had a Legendary version of that, it'd just be better stats on it, maybe more and better inscriptions too. Ben Irving also said that there's going to be about 100 Masterwork / Legendary bits and pieces in the game, components, weapons, abilities, but they will be adding more in the future. He also said there's about 70-ish gear and weapons, and then a whole bunch of components. Speaking of components, he says that some of the components are Javelin specific, but also some are Javelin agnostic. So you can have Masterwork components that you can run on your Ranger or your Storm or your Interceptor if you want to, but you'll also have some that only work for the Storm because it's around their specific ability set, for example. Those kind of areas, so good mix of those, but about 30 components in the game, some of which are specific to your Javelin, some of which can be used on all of them. Also Masterworks, if I get the Legendary Argos Blast Missile to drop, are there any other Masterwork / Legendary Blast Missiles that could drop besides this one? Ben says at launch we made one of everything-ish, but we'll expand that more over time. What the question is for example you have Argos Mace, which is the Masterwork version of a normal Blast Missile. The question was asked if that's the only Masterwork one you can get for the Blast Missile, or whether there's going to be something called Bargos Mace. God, that's a terrible name, but you get the point, right? So at launch there might just be one Masterwork version of every ability in the game, which honestly isn't bad because each Javelin has 12 abilities that they can choose from, so you have a lot of choice there. And the different types of, say, auto rifle have like a faster and more spastic aim versus slower and more accurate ones that hit harder. Ben Irving says yes. Lots of different characteristics on a lot of different weapons, no doubt. How do blueprints work in the game? So Ben Irving says that you complete a challenge, you earn a blueprint, you can craft with that blueprint and the materials. Philosophically, it's meant to fill a gap in your build. Now, I didn't really talk about this in the video that I did previously going over the RNG loot problems, but I do know that there's a crafting system. I know that blueprints going to be a way to fill that gap, as Ben Irving said, but the concern is that you overly rely on the crafting system, which nobody really wants to do, I bet. But I feel and I think that there's going to be a good balance between going out in the world and earning RNG loot that suits you, and then crafting any other bits and pieces that you really need. The Javelin abilities take up gear slots. Ben Irving says it's the same thing. There are gear slots equipping that gives you an ability. I asked, are there any other cool builds that you've been running that might surprise us? Ben Irving says many, smiley face. Cannot wait to see more. Do bosses spawn in free roam, and if so, do they drop high level loot? Ben Irving says yes. If you want to delete an item for crafting, you have to hold a button instead of tapping it. So once we reach a high level end game, will lower level content scale up so we can't slaughter them? Ben Irving says yes, but just to your pilot level. If you have very high rarity, you will be very powerful. That raises us on to the question that the max level in game currently at least is level 30. So instead of mobs scaling to how good your gear is, if you're wearing like Masterwork or Legendary stuff, it will only go up to level 30. If you've got really good gear, you'll still kick ass, don't worry. So if my pilot reaches a certain level, the same level weapons and everything else are unlocked for other javelins too. Ben Irving says yes, but you have to go out and earn said loot. Now let's quickly go over the guild system stuff and currency. So the question that was asked to Mac Dara was, how does the alliance system work in Anthem? Is it like a clan / guild and there are rewards for increasing the tier? Mac Dara just says yes. So this kind of confirms it's somewhat similar to Destiny's, I believe, where the game wants you to go out and do missions and strongholds and dailies and contracts and whatever else with your guildies, and then the whole guild will probably get rewarded rewards for how well you do, how many strongholds you do in a week, some of the big challenges that are really difficult to do. It's worth adding it if you are looking for guilds on PS4, PC and Xbox. Do join the Discord, we'll have a big plan there and you can find people to play with. We'll set you up with a nice guild and we really intend to try hard and really get to the end game and do really well. So if you want to be part of that, do let me know. And do join the Discord, link is in the comments. Now this is pretty cool. Can you talk about this icon on the image with the 1, or is it too soon? Michael Gamble says that it's in-game currency, it's coins. It says that you have to earn these instead of buying them with real life money. Now this is probably the same system that you see in a lot of games, right, where you can earn the in-game currency to buy cosmetics because that's really all it's going to be used for, but you can also use real life money to buy stuff too. You can't buy a masterwork rifle, for example, with real life money. You can't buy certain abilities or gear to make you better. You can only buy cosmetic stuff, which I assume would be like the armor pieces, head shoulder slots, armor sets like that, but also maybe like emotes and stuff that we've seen too. I'm not saying that all of them are going to be behind paywalls, but some of them might be. Now let's go over cosmetics real quick. Question that Ben Irving got is, can you take the cloak off of a storm? He asked why you'd want to do that and then says no, you can't take it off. Is there a character creation for your pilot / freelancer? Ben Irving says yes, there is. And he also says that javelins don't have a specific gender, so you can have a female character in the game, but it's not going to make your storm or your interceptor or your colossus look more feminine. It's going to look the exact same if you're in a male or female character. The only difference is your voice projecting from your character, right, whether it's a male or a female. That seems to be the only difference really that I've seen. Can you change the color scheme and materials on the Legion of Dawn skins, or is it a locked preset? Mac Dara says that you can change them. And also this isn't really cosmetics, but it's to do with lore and story. Will there be lore books to collect in the game? Michael Gamble says that it's not books per se, but codex entries instead, which we have seen a little bit of from the Fort Tarsis stream. Now let's go over some big info to do with the demo. We're going to do a video relatively soon going over some more bigger information surrounding the demo, but for now I'll just keep it to these tweets. What level are we going to be in the beta? Mike Gamble says it's not a beta, it's a demo and level 10. And this is a really important question that came out of me actually. Is there going to be any more tests such as alphas / betas, or will it just be the demos? Ben Irving says the demos. I put this on the YouTube community post that there's not going to be any more tests before the demos, so it's kind of good news. It means that the game's in a pretty good spot, but also the next time that we'll have the chance to play the game will be in a VIP demo. Mike Gamble tells us about what to expect in the demo. A good cross section of stuff, missions, a stronghold, some Tarsis, some free play. You start at level 10 and no progress is carried into release. The stronghold will be Scars and Villainy, which we saw from the Colossus gameplay back in E3, but Mike Gamble says that they've renamed it and probably changed some aspects of it too. The furthest you can progress is to level 15, and you will be able to use the Forge to do some personalization and customization, so you can change the gear and abilities that you are running. This isn't a test, right? This is, a piece of the game. This should be fully fledged. You don't need to provide feedback or anything like that. What we're playing on that VIP and open demo will be a section of the game. Can we stream the upcoming demos? Mac Dara says yes. If you want to see me stream it, twitch.tv/Ryan Central. I'll do a lot more promotion as we get closer to the time. Ben Irving also says we'll have access to all of the javelins in the demo. I don't know if it's a case of whether you can pick one and that's the only one you can use, or whether you'll just have access to all of them at the same time. Will we get a sneak peek at gear pieces we could earn for our javelins release day? Ben Irving says for the demo, yes. Now let's go over specific javelin questions. When the interceptor was using his melee, does he not have a cooldown for it compared to others I've seen its previous live streams with the rangers? Ben Irving says correct, you just keep spamming a button as an interceptor and you keep meleeing until I guess you get stunned or you die at that rate. But also Ben Irving says that there's no other melee combos that can be performed with the interceptor. Will I be able to use the interceptor at release of full game? Ben Irving says yes. After you get through the intro, I guess tutorial of the game, you can also pick a javelin, which is also available at level 2 as you can see, but you can generally pick whatever javelin that you want as soon as you've done it. What is the radius of the taunt for the Colossus? Ben Irving says pretty far. I can't remember, it tends to hit the things you need it to. Then a follow-up question is, does taunt stack with Interceptor's target beacon ability? Ben said yes, but sometimes when I answer these questions it sounds OP, so then I'm like yes, but Now let's go over stuff to expect in the future, or basically not to expect it at launch. But first, just a bit of an announcement. Ben Irving says that some of the people for BioWare are going to be at PAX South. He won't be going as they'll be doing some press stuff around that time, so do expect a lot of news around the time of PAX South, which I believe is very early January. Will we be able to infuse a higher power weapon into a lower power weapon to make it that power, like Destiny system? Ben says no, but we can consider stuff like that after launch depending on what makes sense. Do you already have ideas for future javelins that you'll add into the game? Ben says that they do have some ideas but nothing concrete, but they aren't talking about timing just yet. Do you guys plan to add more than one ultimate for a javelin like subclasses? Ben Irving says not for launch. Any plans of having your squad's health and shield bars on their HUD? It seems hard to know if your teammates need reviving or are low on health. Ben says that they're looking at this at the moment. Big news, Ben Irving says that regular content updates for Anthem will be free in the future. Will we have the ability to lock God rolled items so we don't accidentally delete them? Ben says we don't have this, but it is a good idea though. When can we expect the Anthem soundtrack to be released on Spotify? Ben says I don't know. What are the odds that we could have the feature in Anthem post-launch? Your Anthem is talking about text chat. Ben Irving says the future is vast and full of many possibilities. Fingers crossed it's in before launch. At least I'd like a text chat, but who knows? Might not be necessary, right? Is it going to be PvP in Anthem? Mike Dow says not at launch. He also says that effect customization on abilities may come later, but it won't be available at launch. Mike Gamble, again to reiterate, there's no season pass for Anthem, just get the game, don't worry about that. All content updates are going to be free from then on, but you might need to pay for new javelins, that might be the kicker there. Will we have cross-save between platforms? Mike Gamble says not at launch, but thinking emoji. They're working on it. Will Xbox have priority in content and then release later on in PS4? Mike Gamble says no, which I think is really good news. Platform exclusive stuff tends to be a ball ache when it comes to content like this, so I'm glad that it's just everywhere gets that content. And that is everything that I wanted to go over today, breaking it down into some pretty big categories. We still have more tweets to go through, but I didn't want to make like a 20-minute video. We're going to separate that up to talk about gameplay and other aspects in there, and also some other news as it comes out. But hopefully you enjoyed this video, enjoy the holidays, Merry Christmas, and hope you have a wonderful time. And I'll see you guys in a couple of days for more Anthem news. Take care, and I'll see you soon.